Hey everybody, welcome back to Ravenstead. It's time for another build. Going back to the Underdark again. We're going to build a spider lair. I'm going to use a craft knife here. I don't cut myself, so no worries. Get a couple of columns carved out here with these blocks of foam. It is a spider lair, and I do use some spider miniatures here towards the end. So if you don't like spiders, maybe close your eyes in that part. But that's right at the end, so no surprises. I'll let you know before it happens. I'm not a big fan of spiders either. Although some of them are kind of cute. Anyway, I've got the columns all worked out. I'm just going to plot them out on this tile. I do have some pathways that kind of join into the other tiles that I've done in this build. So using a little ball of aluminum foil there to get the texture that I want. And then we'll go ahead and stick these down with some hot glue and get some screws put in the bottom. This is how I plot out where to put the screw. So I just do two vectors looking at the column, and that gives me a pretty good idea where to put that screw in there. We'll just drive that in and dimple the surface just a little bit, not to break through, but just so that screw head doesn't scrape. I'm going to put in a few little stones here and there. Just some pieces of foam that I've chipped up by hand. And glue those down. Then we'll do a little bit of black bomb in here. Just a mixture of Mod Podge and black acrylic paint. And really scrub that into all the crevices. You don't want any of that pink foam showing through. You know, if you miss a spot, just go back and touch it up. I never like to wait for glue to dry or paint to dry. In the meantime, we'll make our spider webs here. I'm using the dryer sheet. I picked up this idea from Black Magic Craft. It's pretty clever. I am using a brass brush. I don't know if this is kind of my innovation or not, but I'm just kind of dragging that out with the brush, kind of like you would card raw wool to make yarn. It gives it a nice wispy texture. You just got to be careful not to poke your fingers. So I sprayed that with some matte acrylic off camera and let that dry, and in the meantime we'll do our dry brushing using a dark purple and then highlighting with a neon purple. And some of the video and pictures here at the end, when I show you a little closer look at the piece, I illuminate it with a black light. That's a little neon green. So a lot of these colors show up differently. It's pretty stark difference under that black light. A little purple over those green paths just to dull it down. And then we'll do some washes. Actually, I just went with one wash on this piece. It was really vibrant, and I needed to just dull it down just a little bit. So some burnt umber acrylic ink mixed with water all over the piece. And then we'll get some vining and flocking in here. I made my own flocking for this series. It's a mixture of purple dyed sphagnum moss and some white lichen. Ground that up really fine and just put on some PVA glue and sprinkle that on, and that gives us that viney kind of vascular look. There we go. Let that dry, and then time to put the webs on. So I've got several pieces of this. Even with the matte finish, matte varnish on it, it's still pretty flimsy. So we'll give it a couple of good coats of that matte varnish once it's done. And I'm just using PVA glue to stick that down here and there, wherever I want it. So we'll get one last little piece of webbing on here, and then I'll give you a closer look. And in these videos and pictures coming up, there will be little spider miniatures. They're not too creepy, but prepare yourself. Here it is, the spider lair of the Underdark. Got a little Drow warrior there getting ready to fend off some of those giant spiders. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think of the build. If you've got any ideas for spider webs, I'd love to hear them. Here's a picture of it without any black light. Thanks again. See you on the next video.